Good morning, everybody. Yes, that was Moonlight Sonata. More somber, yes, indeed. It's because we're still in, or I'm still in my Euro USD trades now. It's been a week and 2 days now, so it's a total of 7 trading days. I believe since I have been in this trade. Um, Currently in my same amount of baskets that I was last week. That my last position, so position 5, was placed here. Uh, and it did go lower. It did break that level and continued down. And then we had another retracement. Now I knew this retracement was going to be a bit larger. A lot of people were thinking that it was going to be smaller. Cut back here and then continue. It did go higher than that. Now the thing here is the Euro US dollar is in a perfect downward trend right now, or a bigger push. So you see this move, retracement, and then move back down. Uh, the continuations happened at the pivot points. So the first resistance lines, which just shows that the actual retracement was incredibly small. And this one as well. It basically went to the resistance point and reversed from there. Now, this is what I've been watching this really closely, guys. The push up from the swing to the swing high. I've been looking at the candlesticks in between to see if I can get some hints on what's going on here, and how long this would push for. I saw the inside candle here right at the resistance line, and I was like, ah, great. That means that we're probably going to see uh, some push back down from there. Then these two candles happened. So indecisive candles that show that the push down could be limited. Pushed up again, and then the bearish engulfing happened. And when I saw this candle right here, that's when I had a feeling that this would continue back down, and this resistance point would actually hold. So what that means is that I'm going to have to wait it out longer. Yeah. Uh, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can do. At this point, I was at just under 1 point, I think 6 or 7% when the market was here. I was considering closing out, but I would like to have these trades close at break even at least. Um, the losses are I haven't recovered a lot of my accounts since the last loss. And so I'm just trying to hold this out so I can break even without pulling out um, some negative equity. So this is what I'm looking at now. So my recovery is fine at this point. It's pretty steady. I haven't taken a lot of trades this week just because it's been a bit of a mess um, with how heavy the trends have been. Not a lot of pullbacks, so it's been hard to even enter on the trend side this week as well. So the recovery is fine, but the drawdown that I'm currently in is much higher than it was earlier. I'm at 3% or 3.9%, and just waiting for recovery. Now this Euro US dollar is just having a lot of selling pressure, and the pressure is coming from the USD for the most part. Weak Euro and strong USD is continuing to happen. Now, on the news side, we did have some negative results on the CPI USD. It wasn't mixed; it was slightly negative. Initial move on the Euro USD did react to that on the buying side, but it was limited. So this is when the news came out. It shot up a bit, and it only moved. That was only a move of about 16, 17 pips or so. And that initial push up was soon canceled out by a push down. Now, if you look on the crosses, you see the crosses that are hurting too, the Euro crosses right now, the Euro Japanese yen. This has been in a downtrend as well. It's not as clear in the last little while in here because this level at 114 is still holding pretty strongly. Now I did miss a trade on this pair, which was a bit frustrating. This happened back a few hours ago. Resistance at 114.5 was hit and pushed down. Now I would have looked for about 26 pips profit and would have gotten it in a few hours in this trade. I just unfortunately wasn't around for that position. Um, so that was one trade that I missed out on. Not a big deal. It's 26 pips. It's not huge, but unfortunately I couldn't take it. The push up on Australian dollar since the news yesterday um, was, let's see, today is Tuesday, right? So positive Australian dollar, and obviously that's been pushed up because of the monetary meeting minutes in the speech yesterday by Low. So yeah, there's not a lot I can do here either on this pair because at least not in the last several hours. It's pushed up to the resistance points, but this isn't a strong trend, and the odd is strong right now. So I'm looking for more of a retracement before I enter in with this trend on pretty much any Australian dollar pair. So I like this, and then a push down, and there's easy places down here, excuse me, to enter on the trend. Right now the trend is too strong. I need to cut back before I can jump in. Same thing on the CAD. Uh, Looking for a cutback. And then again on the Euro Australian dollar, same kind of deal. It's breaking through all the support levels, and I'm looking for a retracement before I enter again on the downside. Uh, and everything's pretty much in a downtrend right now, guys. There's not I don't think it's wise to enter any trades at this point on most pairs because everything is near the peak of its move. So, for example, the CAD USD is pretty close. I mean, the price is right here, but it's close to its last lowest low area over the last, several hours or days. Um, and the only trade I could probably consider right now is the odd USD, the odd CAD. And I actually might take this one. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this trade. I'm looking at my margin to see how much I can handle here. So before I take it, I'm looking at the downtrend, the new swing levels. I mean, this is going into a tight range here, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Now I'm looking for 31 pips on this trade. Uh, and the Australian dollars is pretty strong, but so is the CAD at this point. And I still think that this is on its way down. Overall, I'm looking at the swing high levels. I mean, they're not perfect by any means, um, but they're still holding to me. So I'm looking at higher high, at the highest high, lower high, lower high. This one did break the previous level just barely. but this one didn't, and it was lower than the previous two. Um, so unless this breaks up now, which I guess is always possible, I will enter at other levels. But this should counteract, I think. It's not really a correlation or a hedge to my Euro US dollar trades. But I do think this is still with the trend. This is not a counter trend trade. This is with the trend. And I'll hold this for a while. I'm at low risk, so I'm not too worried about what's in store for it. The EuroCAD, really big push down. Need a retracement. I'd be looking for a retracement around the pivot point. So that is at 144.3 or 144.8. And I know somebody yesterday was in on the odd Swiss franc. They were short around this area or close to it. This has gone up in a huge way. We've hit resistance 3 up at the top. So I would think that a chance for a retracement is possible here. I wouldn't take this position. I think I'd rather stick with the odd cat in this situation. But this is definitely overextended, and especially in the last 10 hours or so. All right, the pound. Now the pound is going on a nice correction. Yeah, it's in a consolidation period, I guess. Uh, and it's recovered quite a bit, especially on the pound Japanese yen. And it's pushed up quite a lot today. The data that was released had a pretty big effect, which was kind of surprising to me. The CPI data, which hasn't really affected the pound uh, that much lately. For some reason, it's affecting it today, and people ran with it, and it's recovered quite a bit today since that news came out on pretty much all pound pairs, including the pound USD. So the odd CAD is going slightly against me. We'll see if the resistance at 1.035 will hold for me. If not, I may enter a bit higher. I could potentially enter at R2. Let's see what R2 looks like. So R2 is right around the last support area, or the last swing, which was at the half number, so 1.005. I don't mind the two points that they have me entering. This one, the R2 is a little too close for me. Um, I think I'm gonna wait until the swing level back, the more substantial swing level at 1.00858. That seems like a better distance to me, especially since I'm already in pretty deep on the Euro US dollar. I'm gonna wait to I'm gonna bypass this level, and I'll probably enter near the R3 or near this support here, or this one. These two are the more substantial ones to me. If they're broken, then this push could continue up. All right, I don't have a whole lot to talk to you guys about. I'm gonna answer some questions to you if we have a discussion that we can do. All right, looking at the questions here, guys. Sorry, give me a sec. Yeah, Robert FX. I agree. The news was ignored. There was an initial 17 pip push up on the Euro US dollar, and then it was kind of ignored. Um, it's hard to say why that's the case. Um, especially when you see the on the USD crosses, it's not trending in a huge way. I mean the UJ is moving up, and it's because the Euro US dollar is moving down. But the USD CAD is the USD is losing a lot against the CAD here. So it's going down, and but the euro, on the other hand, in my opinion, is moving more. It's moving more on most of the crosses than the USD is. So the euro is what's I think causing this move down. People find that the euro is in much worse shape right now than the USD, even with the negative USD news. So this level is still trying to hold. If it does break through uh, the 1.1 level, or the 1.1, yeah, the 1.1 level, then it could push down in a pretty big way. So I'm hoping that this level in here does hold. If it does, then eventually I feel like it will shoot up. But if it does break, especially down at the last line of support at 0.96, then yeah, we potentially could be in some trouble for closing out in a loss. Uh, the entire move has been really quite large without a lot of retracement. Uh, 200 pips with only a 75 pip retracement or 73 pip retracement, just not huge. So I'm not totally uh, discouraged yet, because this whole number is still very much in play right now for me. We do have a close below the last swing, or the good swing level of 1.0994, which is right at the whole number. So the biggest concern is this candle for me. This candle did close above the swing level, which means that we could test that bottom at 1.096. We'll see what happens there, and then play it out as best I can. So the odd CAD still moving. Robert, I could buy the US dollar Swiss franc. Uh, there is something I could do, which I might consider, is putting a larger hedge in on if there's a clear break of the 1.96 level. Um, I could try to put a larger hedge in on the US dollar Swiss franc. It's something that I consider if we get to that point. It's I don't necessarily want to do something like that, but the larger hedge could help uh, keep us in longer, or take out some profit, or even potentially cause us to come out with a smaller loss if I decide to choose that. But the idea throughout this whole thing, guys, was to take the US dollar Swiss franc and the entire push down. But I don't have a robot or EA that can do that correctly. I need an EA that will, whenever an order is placed on the Euro US dollar, an order is placed directly on the US dollar Swiss franc, and then go from there. Something that I'm still trying to get worked on. Um, but since I'm not going to be doing a ton of counter trend trading after this trade closes, for the time being, until we have less trendy movements on most pairs. The odd CAD. The take profit, sorry, I forgot to mention. So my entry was at 1.0038, and my take profit will be 1.000. So just about the whole number. Um, and so that's about 30 pips. I'll enter again at the resistance near 1.009. So that's about another 37 pips from here up. So if that decides to go against me up, then I'll enter again. If that holds, then I will likely hold for a bit longer on the ride down to grab a few more pips while we're waiting for the Euro US dollar trades to come out. Yeah, well, I do have a hedge in on the Robert. I do have a hedge in on the UJ, so I'm hedging on that pair, which is fine. As you can see, the move down recently on the Euro US dollar has caused the UJ to push up. Now we're still not quite at break even on the UJ yet, but if the Euro US dollar continues to push down, the UJ will push up. Okay. There's not a whole lot for me to talk to you guys about. I already told you what the plan was. Uh, the UJ is having a bit of a kickback here, which just means that the Euro US dollar should have a little bit of a push back up. I would find this a bit strange of a place right here, where it is now, for a continued push or bounce from there. I would like I close above the daily pivot. So this candle to close above the daily pivot line, and then we could see more of a bounce here and retracement. This is what I would like to see. Is okay. So if we're talking about technical side, which this actually seems to be following a technical side very well. Uh, the move down, the retracements to the swing levels or resistance levels, and then a continuation. So if we're talking about the technical side, at the bottom here of this channel, I'd like to see this. So we have the support, support, resistance, resistance. Then I'd like to see support. Then a bounce from here. Something like that is what I would like to, is very possible. I don't think it's going to happen right at that point, at least not yet. I like that candle, like I said, to close a little stronger in order for that to happen. But when we see the swing levels, like the higher lows happening, that could be a good indication that we are starting to move on the upside. We haven't seen any of that yet. So the price action is definitely showing that this is still in a downtrend, that the retracements are still limited, and the resistance points, or the places um, for the retracement, the earliest place for the retracement to stop, is being obeyed, and the trend is continuing. Um, so we need to see some right now. The fundamental side not looking amazing for the Euro US dollar. The technical side not looking amazing yet, but that could change. Once the technical side changes, the fundamental side could follow, or vice versa. And so I'm waiting to see what happens here. Now I still have available margin, 830. You guys know I like to be above 500 or above. If it's lower than that, that's okay. I've been lower than that. Um, but in most cases, I will close for a loss before I get below 400, 400% on my margin level. So that's my outlook now. We could see any kind of bounce at this whole number in anywhere in here from this point on to here. So like in this whole bracket area, there could be a bounce and a new swing low could be made, or a higher swing low, and then continue push. And then if this does start changing directions at this point here and starts pushing up, I'd like to see how it behaves around the uh, last swing level, the swing high. Is it going to continue from there, or is it going to bounce there again and then bounce back down? And then this time, it could push down further, or it could even make a smaller range. We've seen this before, where it gets tighter and tighter and tighter until eventually it breaks out. So those are the things that could easily happen here, and it's just predictions, guys. It's nothing uh, really important in this analysis. It's just showing me what's possible on the Euro US dollar, and I'm watching the price action to see if I can get any hints on when my positions could possibly close, or how much longer do we have to wait. At this point, it looks like we might have to wait a little bit longer, um, a few days, who knows, maybe by the end of the week. But once I see some kind of price action indicating that the push is going up, then I would say that we're looking better because the price action is reading positive on us potentially getting out. But until then, just waiting it out to see what price gives us and what the fundamental news brings us the rest of the week. Now to close out, I did want to mention about the news the rest of the week. The pound is going to have some news. The CAD. So you're wanting to look at for your new traders. Forex Factory is a good place. They don't show the news releases right away for some of you new traders. A good site for Forex news. One of my favorites actually. I've had quite a few of them. One of my favorite site actually got taken down, unfortunately, not too long ago. But I like FX Street. Their economic calendar is pretty good too when it's when it's working. But they actually show releases pretty quickly. Their news is pretty good too, so I keep an eye on that. So when it comes to news releases, check FX Street and also news statements. But Forex Factory, pretty easy to read. It's just right in front of you. And so that's why I use it to show in my streams. So the pound could see some volatility. The numbers don't look crazy huge in the forecast. So who knows how much that will actually move it. Usually this news will cause volatility, so keep an eye on the pound during the course of the European session. Building permits, not expecting a lot there. Yes, this is going to move the CAD. It's going to make it volatile in some way, likely. So there's a lot of stuff on the CAD. So be very wary of you traders that are in on the CAD. You could either hit profit, or you're going to hit massive loss, depending on what happens here. But there's a press conference. There's Pose is speaking. The overnight rate statement. There's just tons of stuff. I would stay away from the CAD if you want to be safe. I mean, I'm in on the CAD actually. I'm on odd CAD, but I'm actually really low on the risk. So I'm not too worried about this being shot against me. If I was in deep, like uh, a few percent, I would maybe consider pulling out of that. There's still some time for those of you guys that are trading it. That news on the CAD doesn't come out for another 24 hours. So I'd hope to be out of this position by that time, um, this small position that I have. Because of the news coming out, there is potential for me to jump in at a lower uh, resistance level. Um, but actually, I think I'm going to wait it out. Yeah. So the odd USD, the odd will also have some unemployment change and some volatility tomorrow as well. So those of you that are trading the Australian dollar or the CAD, um, consider closing your trades out, whether it be in profit or loss, tomorrow before the news. Uh, the unemployment claims could have some effect, but the ECB press conference, this is the big one for this week, in my opinion. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, it's not going to do much unless the numbers are like record highs or something or lows. Okay, so and then the BOJ, uh, Kuroda speaks on the Friday. We don't really know what that time is yet. Maybe uh, Tony will have that time for you guys when that happens. All right. Uh, MRMAs, that's probably a better question. Your question regarding gold, it's probably a better question for Hans actually. I don't trade gold, um, but I mean, what you're asking may not be a bad idea, but I may not be the person to ask in regards to that since I don't trade gold. Well, guys, again, just kind of waiting things out here. Not a lot of action on my side. Unfortunately, the Australian dollar is continuing its bit of a push on the CAD, um, against the CAD here. There is potential I could close this out in small loss, depending on how it's looking later today. Um, considering the news is coming out, but I'll have to wait and see. Uh, it's still in on the trend here on the trend side, um, so I'm expecting a continuation of that either at the where it is currently or at the R3, which is near the whole number at 1.01. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I'm going to be watching the Euro US dollar carefully at this level down here to see how it behaves. It's a pretty important level at the 9.6 in my opinion. And if it breaks that, then ooh, uh, if it does break that and then we have a close below it, I might consider closing out. And that's just part of the game. So we'll see. Uh, the significance down here is pretty good. I want to see double bottom and then a bounce off of there, and then that could show us some really good some positive um, out, outlook on the Euro US dollar for some kind of some recovery. But until then, let's wait it out, see how it behaves at this support level 1, and if we get a pullback on the current candle. All right, guys. Let me just make sure there's nothing else here. It doesn't look like it. And I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll follow up tomorrow to see how the Euro US dollar is behaving, if I've closed out my trades, if I in loss or profit. Um, and we'll follow up with you tomorrow. And hopefully, I won't be playing sad music again. But we'll see. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and see you tomorrow.